Back on this story yet again, a failed destiny swap and a backfire. So, Brenay Kennard and Tim Montague are two people from North Carolina, which many people probably already know from all of the headlines a couple of months ago. Brenay Kennard was the mistress to Tim Montague, and Brenay Kennard was also married to Devin Mayo, which is the cousin to Tim Montague. And Tim Montague was married to a young lady by the name of Akira Montague. Now, Akira Montague won her lawsuit in North Carolina for alienation of affection in the sum total of $1.75 million. As of today, Brenay Kennard still owes that money to Akira Montague. And then there's pending criminal charges for cyber stalking, and they are due in court at the end of January of 2026. So hopefully they kind of give you a backstory. I've talked about this maybe a couple of times before as it relates to the series of destiny swapping. Now I want to bring something to your attention as it relates to a recent interview that Dr. Phil did with Brenay Kennard and Tim Montague. Now these two are now legally married, and they went on this show after going on the Tamron Hall show to talk about how Brenay in particular believes that she has been misrepresented. Now, I don't know who has misrepresented her, but I mean, she brought all of this to the internet, and it does seem as though she is trying to spin this narrative as though she is not as guilty as the courts have decided that she is. So, as with most narcissistic people, because she does appear to be narcissistic to me, it seems as though the court of public opinion matters more than the legal court system. The court of public opinion and what we think, those of us who really do not know her other than what she has presented to the world, matters more than what some legal authority has to say, or a jury of her peers, or a fair trial. That judgment does not matter to her. Her trying to spin this narrative as though she is a decent person seems to be mattering more to her than anything. And it does not work, considering the fact that people are what they do and not what they say. And a lot of narcissistic people just do not understand that, especially the ones who are spiritually manipulative, like Brenay Kennard, who is a self-proclaimed Christian. A lot of what she has done, she tries to cloak herself in the garments of Christianity, but a lot of what she's done has been spiritual manipulative, energetically manipulative, and spiritual bypassing on another human being. A lot of what Brenay has done would be classified as, if we were talking in spiritual terms or religious terms, it would be more so witchcraft than anything. She comes across more of like a witch than she would as a decent human being. And a lot of this is because she has purposely gone out of her way to not only disturb the household of another woman, but she has made it her mission to try to destroy this woman's mental health, emotional state, her spiritual state, and her financials, as well as her opportunities. I remember Akira in her testimony not only stating that she had to go through all of this counseling and therapy, which they did show evidence of, but she also lost a job opportunity because of all of this stuff surrounding this case, as well as the adultery that led up to the case itself. And so there was a lot of moving other people's lives around at their expense to harm them, to hurt them in a very detrimental way. And it was not just Brenay who trespassed and bypassed on Devin and Akira. It was also Tim Montague. And oftentimes, Tim isn't highlighted as much as Brenay. However, with the Dr. Phil interview, I love that he drug Tim out of the background and the shadow of this story and put him on full blast and put him on the forefront. So with Tim, I want to show you guys something. It comes across very wicked, considering the fact that he was a man that not only proposed to, but he married and had a family with Akira. And there seems to be an obsession and almost an envious angle to try to disturb not only her mental peace, but to alter her reality in some sinister and very dark way. I want to bring you guys attention to this segment on Dr. Phil, and I want you to see the mentality of Tim Montague as it relates to his ex-wife and the mother of his children.
But her and I were intimate, and I exited the room, came back in, and she was sitting upside down. Said that up to that point, she didn't get pregnant, so she wanted to see if she would get pregnant that way.
So you didn't mean to get pregnant?
No. And
but you know how this works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, like, he puts his in hers, and then...
Yeah, you're right.
And so you did that, and boom, surprise.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, the second was a complete surprise. Like, she fell at some place, had to go to the doctor. They were going to do an x-ray, and they were like, ma'am, you're pregnant.
She fell down and got pregnant. I hate it when that happens.
Now, when you analyze a person, a man in particular, with that type of mindset, what that displays to me is not only does this person possibly hate this woman, but there seems to be an angle of jealousy. I've listened to him many times talk very disparagingly about the mother of his children and his ex-wife. And it comes across not only spiteful and very bitter, but a narcissistic man who does not want to labor his way through life. He does not want to work to acquire the things in life. They will say almost anything just to get the conveniences of life. And it seems like he is willing to throw his ex-wife and the mother of his children under the bus in a very negative and disparaging way, just to be able to have somewhere to stay, some food to eat, clothes on his back, and maybe even a few hobbies that he can indulge in. In order to make this woman over here feel comfortable, he has to speak negatively about the mother of his children, even though those two did the woman downright dirty. And so, with a man like that, it's not just even the money. I believe that Tim, was also very jealous of Akira as well. And it's not for the reasons that many people may think. It's not just for the money or anything like that. I think that he just does not like the fact that, considering where she came from, her family system, the support that she received from her grandmother, from her mother, and others, I don't think that he liked that she had a community. I don't think that he liked the way that she was raised. She does appear to be a young woman who was cared for, who was poured into, who was well invested into. And she ended up getting caught up with a bum, a guy that did not have a sense of self or a strong identity, and maybe even struggle with his own internal battles himself. It seems as though Tim is more jealous of her foundation and her potential to be successful and victorious in life, as well as the way that she handles herself. Now, no one is perfect. However, the way that she comes across, very poised, under pressure, calculated under pressure, having some level of class, some level of grace and elegance, and a very, very visually beautiful young woman. And I think a lot of the attributes and characteristics that Akira has, her being driven, determined, resilient, a young woman of very few words, she does more doing than she does saying. And I think that the way that she carries herself versus the way that he has handled himself makes him very jealous and very spiteful towards her. And so I think that he used Brenay, a woman that he clearly sees has identity issues and struggles with her self-esteem. He used her as a tool and an instrument of torment against Akira. He is the one that not only green lights the behavior of Brenay, but he enables it and promotes it against Akira. He has used Brenay as a weapon against Akira. And because he is a man, he knows that that's not going to look right if he's the one being abusive psychologically and emotionally to her. So he's decided to use a woman against her to try to do that to her. So them both coming together like two little schoolgirls, bullying one set target. I think that that is the reason why these two decided that they not only wanted to be nasty with sneaking around with each other against their spouses, but I also think it was a way for him to carry out his dark intentions against Akira, because with being with her for all of those years, he saw different parts of her, different layers of her being. And I think he was very jealous of those different layers that he saw. Brenay was a way for him to try to destroy Akira's well being and hopefully her future. And they have been trying to do that in every way possible. As you see with Tim, even though he does not want to take care of his children, he's actually in contempt of court for child support and some other things. He has tried to find ways to disrupt Akira through the family court system, weaponizing that against her, trying to disturb her present reality and her moving forward with her future. And the intention of that is just trying to delay her and to stall her and slow down her progress in life. And that is a very wicked thing, especially coming from a man who was once your spouse. That was her husband. That's the father of her children. A man who does not have enough sense of self, integrity, or morale to understand that regardless of whether you're struggling to help care for your children or not, those are an extension of your DNA. And if God bless you with those children, which you participated in the act to have them, then the honorable thing to do is to acknowledge that you were not the best partner. However, try to be the best father that you can be for the sake of your children's well being. But when you do not have a code of ethics, real serious values, a fear of God, a love for self, you are willing to use the only thing that you can use against a good mother. He does not want to care for them. He only wants to use them as a tool to torture her, to try to dismantle her and hopefully provoke her. Because if he can provoke her in a negative and emotional way and she blows up, then he can create this narrative that she's unstable. See, she's mentally unstable. She's mentally ill. The children should be with me, even though I think he has paid one child support payment, including $90 and a couple of outfits apiece between two children. This is a very sad situation. And I'm so happy that they are on this media run to try to disprove what we all know to be true, is that these are two individuals who struggle with identity issues, struggle with a lack of self control, have discipline issues, struggle with lust, and have tried to find many different psychological tactics and spiritual ways to try to uproot other people's lives for their gain, and it has completely backfired. And then here's something else with Brenay. She does not understand that her mouth is so powerful. She has a manifestation quality where she has set intentions against Devin and Akira. And everything that she's wanted for Devin and Akira ended up becoming her reality. Check this out.
Think about something. The first thing that a dude say when they break up with somebody is that they never loved you and they never was in love with you.
Were you in love with her?
No,
Never?
no.
And the new person is treating them way better and making them feel like, this is what love's supposed to be like.
Absolutely. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life.
You broke up, just accept the fact that you did love me, accept the fact that you were in love with me, accept the fact that you had a child with me. And
You, surprise, had 2 kids with somebody that was just kind of a sharing the rent with you and making you miserable.
and try to tell the new girl, oh, I never loved her, or we this and we that.
Absolutely. Have you seen old pictures? I used to be in the pictures like happy.
Like y'all dudes need to tighten up. Y'all need to tighten up for real. And then the girls that's with them, y'all look about delusional too. And it's just annoying.
Do you see how powerful your words are? Here's a young woman that understood that before this big blow up with this affair with Tim Montague. She was able to not only see that, but know that. She participated in something that she knew was wrong and did it anyway. That lets you know that this was out of spite, it was out of jealousy, and it was out of control. Everything that Brenay said was a forewarning for her own reality. That is how powerful life is. You will be saying something in this day and time, and it will be a warning for what not to do in your future. Then, if you do that said thing that you know is wrong in your reality today, you will be living the consequences of that very thing in your future. That is how powerful life is. Past, present, and future is all simultaneously working all together. If you are not aware of what you're saying and doing in your current present reality, you will be living either the consequences or the benefits of your future.